back, listeners, to another episode of Mind Over Matter with your host, Sana. Today, we are diving into something very fascinating and yet often overlooked key to mental and physical wellness play. Yeah, just play. And our guest today, Xander Phelps, he has spent a decade traveling the world with nothing but just a backpack and a passion for human connection, which we all are longing now in today's digital world. And along the way, he uncovered a profound truth. Play is the universal language of love. Through movement, laughter, and creativity, he found that play isn't just fun, it's essential for our well being. And today we are going to explore why playing with thyself might just be the cure for stress, burnout, and even physical ailments. Surprising, right, listeners? So, with that, let's quickly jump on to the conversation. And Xander, welcome to the show and absolute excitement for me to host you today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, good stuff.
Um, Okay, so Xander, let's start at the extreme beginning. Where all this started? How did your journey lead you to discover that play is actually the key to wellness? What exactly that means? I know it's a long question, but let's start with the conversation with this.
I mean, the best way to probably start it was back in 2000 and oh, well, sorry, 1994, when I was
Oh,
working a very stressful job. I was working about 100 hours a week, so I'd go home once a week to do
mm,
laundry, and I slept at my office. Um, and I was under a lot of stress. Well, I had an option to continue that job or do a different path. So I ended up just quitting. I just said I can't do this anymore, and I quit. And then I got all my stuff down to a backpack. But right when I was about ready to leave, one of my friends gave me what's called a foot bag, but it's also called a hacky sack. This little bag that he had in his pocket, and he gave it to me with the profound words. He said, "Keep it in your pocket. It's going to be the best gift that anyone's going to ever give you." I didn't know how amazing it was gonna be, but I just left, gave him a hug, and then headed out with this thing. But that one little gift changed my world. When I traveled for 10 years, the first thing I would do when I got to a new country is I'd go to a park, I'd
mm,
take off my shoes and start playing, and I'd start playing with myself. And
uh,
yeah, right? So, legally, but, it eventually, almost inevitably, somebody would come up and play with me, right? They would just say, "Hey, can I play?" And
Yeah.
usually that person was an outgoing person, they were fun-loving, and they wanted to come up to a complete stranger and just meet them, and so there was a certain level of character that that already creates, but then I was playing with another human being, and it's always fun, there's no violence, it's cooperative competition. Hack for me, I call it the ultimate play tool or the ultimate, physical exercise, but it literally is. So, at that point, like, literally the first time I started playing, I recognized how much of a connection it was, and then I felt my body and, the whole thing about I mean, when the first time I played was actually at the airport after when I was leaving. After my friend gave me that foot bag, I went to the airport and my flight was 3 hours delayed. So I played for that whole time and somebody jumped in and I had an immediate friend, but when I got to my seat on the plane, I felt into my physical body and my whole body was tingling. So I knew how amazing it was for my physical body, and every time if I was ever stressed out or something like that, or if I was in a weird situation, I could just kick it. And then I learned juggling later on, which is also amazing for your brain. But anytime I play, it resets me.
Wow. Wow. And that's such, although it's so personal, but I think eh, I'm very sure it will resonate with so many listeners, especially in today's era, where we are just digitally connected and we think it's pretty cool to have multiple digital friends, but in actually we are alone. I mean, it's now becoming an endemic. So,
Yeah.
a very, very important uh, point to
It's
have awareness about.
the
And you
digital stuff
think,
is crushing us right now. I'm actually working with a guy who goes through digital detox for universities because
wow.
we're losing our humanity. We really are, because humans were meant to connect with each other. It's physical touch is important. Being able to look at somebody in the eyes and see their whole face and their expressions is important. And the more we get
Mm,
digitized, the more we're losing that part of us. So, and and the depression is running rampant because of it.
yeah, yeah, right. And you say that play is a universal language. Um, can you share a moment where play helped you break down cultural or maybe emotional barriers?
Literally any country that I could go to, people
Mhm.
resonated with it. Once I learned how to juggle, I usually would be somewhere I would just juggle, and regardless of the age, regardless of anything, I can get smiles from people. And I relate that to that humans have a fundamental purpose to play. It's the way that children, grow in this world. It's the way they learn, is through play. And it's just you can always communicate. It just comes across if you're playing, you're a good
Mm,
person. You know what I mean? Like it just it shows a certain type of mentality that if you can play, that you're okay. You're you it gives a safety barrier for people. So that's it's inclusive. So when I say that it's the ultimate love language, I literally mean that. Like if I try to define love, it's just as
mm,
challenging for me to try to define play. It's so expansive, it needs so many different things, but everyone can relate to it. Everyone connects with that playful spirit.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think I also believe, um, um, I mean, people are now listening to songs, they're watching movies of multiple languages across borders, across different parts of the world. And, I keep on reading their comments and they say, I don't understand the words, but it's so soothing to me. I feel connected with what I see or what I hear or what the artist is creating. And I think that's uh, the power of play. Uh, it doesn't hold barrier for any borders or countries or cultures. I think religion also, anything,
We can
because
all relate.
yeah, it's the human. I mean, it's that element of humanity. Um, uh, so I think that's really really powerful, Xander. It's interesting how play can bypass words and go straight to the heart of human connection. To summarize this, also,
Absolutely.
and now talking about a different, perspective. Many people in today's world would see play as a waste of time. So, what would you say to those who believe productivity and play can't coexist?
They have no idea what they're talking about. That's, uh, right? I go over this. I'm all over this all the time because people have considered play to be the antithesis to work, and that's nonsense. I mean, it's they've done studies now that show that people are way more productive when they incorporate play into the work state. Um,
Yep.
it's like there's many major companies like, Facebook, Google even has this where they have playrooms in their offices where if they say if you're stressed out, go play. Go do something that gets your mind distracted from it so you can refocus. Um, and the studies about what juggling does for us, how it resets our brain, it literally just dumps your brain because it requires a focused attention, but your brain just relaxes, yet stays focused, and it just literally does a brain dump. So you can stay focused, but you'll have an opportunity to grow in a productive state. So literally, it's one of those things like it just takes a moment for people to get it. Like anybody who says it's it's not productive to play. You're just you look at them and go, that's just you can disprove it so quickly and so quickly. It's like it's almost like a moot point nowadays. I think more and more people are recognizing that play is foundational to being productive. Literally, if you don't have any play, you're gonna have people who are just dreading every moment of being there, and
Mhm.
they will shut down. So, one great story I have is when I left my job back in
Mhm.
1990, it was actually 1995 when I officially left it. I did have an interview with another company, but when I went into that company for that job, everyone
Mhm.
had like little toy Nerf guns type of things, and anytime the stress was too much, the manager would go, "All right, shoot 'em up," and everyone would grab their gun and just start shooting everybody, right? And it was a
Mhm.
way just to totally get the whole atmosphere changed up. Everyone started laughing, and I watched it one time happen because like, "Check this out." He goes, "Shoot 'em up," and everyone just started doing it, and it was the whole atmosphere of the room changed. Everyone was laughing, and then it was just like 5 or 10 minutes. Everyone picked up their stuff, and then they went back to work.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty powerful to watch, and that was even before I fully discovered, that's even prior for me, like, really diving into the power of play.
True, true, true. And do you think the word play restricts only to games or sports, or we often see in workplaces, although it encourages teamwork, refocusing, refreshing, rejuvenation, but do you think play is often restricted to, from listeners perspective, I'm asking, is it often restricted to just physical activities?
No. I mean, again, play is an amazing word to try and define, but I do it all the time. Like, if I'm doing my house chores or something like that, if I'm doing vacuuming or something, I do a little jiggy while I'm dancing or dance while I'm doing that. If I'm walking down the street, I'm not walking in a straight line because it's kind of tough on your body to do that. So I do little skips or I'll jump off of something or run like, if there's a couple of poles, I'll run around them or do something stupid just to amuse myself. I get a laugh out of it for myself, but, sometimes I'll catch somebody else in the somewhere down the road or something like that who'll look at me and just start laughing because I'm just having fun. I'm trying to keep my own brain going and finding amusement in everything, but, that reflects onto other people too. I love it if I can see somebody else who gets amusement out of the stuff that I do to amuse myself. But I do it pretty much all the time, and that's what's great about play is once you get what I call the play flow state. That's where I try and get the brain to be in a playful mode about everything, but I can get into it pretty quickly, and that some of the tools I share to try to do that help get into that state.
Yeah, if you would like to share, we all would love to know.
Because, there's just different steps. It takes a little bit of time, and that there's different ways to try and train your brain to always think, about from the other angle of having fun,
Mhm.
and it takes a little bit of encouragement too, and being able to get out of your head, if you will. Stop thinking that you're always being, looked at and scrutinized in a negative way, and you gotta start having positive talking in your brain about things and positive self-talk. So, it takes time, though.
Mm, mm. Also, talking about your personal journey, Xander, it includes healing your own hernia through play, despite conventional medical advice suggesting surgery. Now, rational minds would think that's not possible. That's sort of it. Can you walk us through how that happened?
Yeah, I love that the many minds would say that's not possible. I'm like, literally anything is possible if you believe in it. You know what I mean? I believe in that. I mean, there's gravity, so think believing that you can fly probably is not the best idea, but you know,
Mhm,
it's mind over matter in lots of the ways. The thing was is that I did have a hernia in 2015, so it's been 10 years. Um,
mhm,
and at the time I was living on Kauai, which is one of the Hawaiian islands. And out there, I was known as the ambassador of play. And every weekend, I mean, I'd go to schools and do stuff, but every weekend I'd go to the major farmers market and I would play in this park and get other people to play with me. But I couldn't do that with my hernia. Even walking was painful, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went to my doctor and he said, look, you're going to have to live with it or you're going to have to do surgery. I looked into surgery and said, no way. Surgery in itself, I'm not a big fan of, but having a foreign substance put in my body, your body has all kinds of negative reactions to it. So, um, I know I looked on the internet to how to heal it, and there wasn't really any information on it. So I just dove into like all these things that I knew about how to do it, like that I thought would be good. And my motivation was to play. Like if I cannot play, then what is my purpose here? So I gave myself 6 months. I'm like, if I cannot heal it in 6 months, I'm going to get the surgery. And then in 2 weeks, I had it so it stayed inside. And then within 1 month, I was kicking around my foot bag again, my hack. Um, and then within 2 months, I was running on the field doing what we call ultimate disc or ultimate frisbee with my Kauai team again. And so that everyone everyone I knew was just blown away by it because they're like, I didn't think that was possible." And I'm like, you know, I did a series of steps and I knew how to do massage work. I studied massage and how to heal the body in various ways. So I did that to myself and just had my attitude was, "I know I can do this." So that was my mental fixation was, "I've got this. I can do this. I'm gonna do it." So I didn't put any doubts in my mind.
Wow, that is incredible. So I think it clearly states that play has the potential to not just impact mental health but also physical healing.
100%, 100%. That's just, I mean, laughing is part of play, and laughter is amazing for us as far as just the healing goes. The healing process, if you can laugh more and get more joy out of everything, your all of your cells in your body radiate with that, and that's the healing state. If we're depressed, if we're bummed out, our body is shuts down. It starts getting into a dis-ease place. So the more play, the more joy you can bring into your world and everybody else that you affect with that, it helps change our world. I mean, that's my mission is to try to remember that, you know, the more we can play with ourselves, the more we affect other people, the more the world can change. The more we can get past this state of feeling like we're constantly under threat. And as the universal language, you can go to any place and play, and people will jump in on it. So
Awesome, awesome. But, as you mentioned about laughter, I think I have had multiple conversations with guests where we talked about laughter. We talked about photography and painting as a form of meditation. I have learned about music as an effective tool for breath work. So there are so many possibilities, so many creative channels to play with, where there are no boundaries. Anyone can participate there, irrespective of their gender or their age or their nationality or anything.
yeah.
So I think for people who feel disconnected, or they think that these creative channels, they are not effective, or they may not be the tools or channels for modalities like practices like meditation or breath work, or just getting into your own space, settling down, calming yourself down. What would you say to them?
Infinite ways to play. That's you'll find your way. It's not there is no, um, right or wrong way or right things to do or wrong things to do, um, unless, of course, you're negatively impacting anybody. That goes against the childlike play, but You will find your way. You know, you can play an instrument. You know, you can play in a and get lost in, like you were saying, in an art piece. People, I know so many artists who that's the way that they play, and it's just a way of resetting your brain into that creative mode. So, you know, writing a book is, a lot of people play that way. People play with programming, coding. You know what I mean? And that's another way of getting your brain to play, because they're constantly just thinking out different ways to do it. So, you know, it the defining it again is huge, and everybody has their own definition that fits into their reality that they can attach to. And regardless of age or anything like that too, I work with senior centers about how to play with themselves efficiently, you know, and with doing small things with their hands or whatever, just to enact that playful state.
True. And we have so many creative channels. We have, I mean, as you mentioned about, running errands or household chores, or just, cleaning our closets or something like that. I think those are really, really effective. You know, playing kind types of play we can leverage to declutter our minds as well. And even not, comedy. I think it's laughter, again, coming back to laughter. It's such an effective, I mean, people are now gradually agreeing to the importance of laughter as well, how
Yeah.
important it is.
I did a wonderful course on laughter yoga. They call it laughter yoga, but you get into these states where you do these silly things in a group and everyone just starts cracking up, and literally it's the hardest I've ever laughed was in one of those courses. And you know, like stomach, you're lying, you end up lying on the ground and everyone's like laying their head on the other person's belly, and
Mhm.
you just start laughing, and all of a sudden everybody's laughing so hard, and I was laughing so hard that my feet couldn't touch the ground because my whole core was tightened up so much with laughter. And
Mm,
you literally, it's you're tingling for days after. Your brain is literally tingling for days after.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And that has so uh, positive biological effects on our body and mind, because everything is connected internally.
100%.
Yeah. If you feel like children again. Kiss.
Kids, that's what there's a great book on it, but, like, literally watching the way children play, um, that's why parenting is amazing. If you can, like, let the children lead you in play, you will find and discover all new ways of doing it. But children adapt their play so that it lasts longer. So if they have a person who dominates in the play, they'll handicap them or get more kids to play against that person. And it's never about winning. They're not trying to crush another team. They're just trying to make it so that the play can last longer. And that's why I call it childlike play, the innocent play of no victors, no winning. That's what happens to our play state is when we go through school, it gets eventually crushed into a recess time. And then when you eventually get to upper schools, it starts becoming only through sports. And then you're learning to defeat another team. And that slowly takes away that childlike play that doesn't really want that. It doesn't want to feel like it's dominating somebody, because then we do recognize the child recognizes their interconnectedness. And so they don't want to cause somebody else to feel bad, you know? Because I guess inherently recognize, "Oh, that's part of us too. We don't wanna do that to somebody else. Why would we do that?" And then when we get to adults, it completely gets shut out of our you have to seek ways to play. So this it's a stepping stone to get us out of this play flow state, the childlike state that keeps us creative, innovative, and full of joy. So and then we become more and more depressed and more feeling that life doesn't really have any meaning and what am I gonna do and stuff like that. And you start getting really bummed out about just being. So we've got to bring back that childlike play. We got to be able to recognize that it really is what I call our fundamental purpose. You know what I mean? Like I consider play with thyself the point five commandment. Like literally before everything else, we are here. We come into a physical body to experience the separation from our spirit, or how we come into here is to experience a physical body and enjoy a playground.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great, great, Xander. So, if our listeners would wish to connect with you to explore, how they can embrace playing, how they can explore more about playing with thyself, how they can do that.
Well, the first place is hackido.org, which is hack I do, HACKIDO.org or .com. On there, I have a free juggling course, and I mean, it's I've explored other juggling courses, and this is the most complete one. I show you how to make nice juggling balls in there, and I teach you steps that you do with one ball to learn how to do a three ball cascade. I Juggling is my highest recommendation, like, above and beyond anything I've ever done. Juggling is something that we could all learn if we have 2 arms and we're capable of doing it, you should learn how to juggle. If you knew how good it was for you, you would stop everything and learn how to juggle, but it's hard to really communicate it, like, effectively, like, what it does, it helps with everything. So that course is on there for free. I also show people how to make a little foot bag. There's a free thing to show you that. I also have kits available that show you how to make 3 patterns that are a little globe, a world. Um, but that's the play course. Healmyhernia.com is about how to heal the hernia. So I have a free section there. It said remedies, and that's like the way I did it, like the basic thing. And then I have a protocol that you can purchase that has videos and stuff that goes with the actual how to do the whole process. Um, Other than that, I also have a origami site, a origami website that shows you how to brain train your I called it fold your brain into shape, but origami is another extraordinary brain exercise. So I have a website for that, and that's linked on both of those sites, but that's because it's craniogami.org. It's a little bit more challenging to type out. But, uh, other than that, and I have my artwork, which is also linked up. I do artwork as well, so it has some pretty cool artwork from around the world.
Wow, wow. Well, we mentioned everything in the show notes for our listeners. Get with you and check out your work across all the channels. And Xander, thank you so much for this absolute lovely conversation. I think it's definitely a reminder that we don't have to wait for joy. We can create it through play. We can connect through play. So, listeners, if you have been feeling stressed, disconnected, anxious, or maybe you are stuck in a rut, maybe it's time to play with thyself, as Xander says. So, Xander, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure and a joy connecting with you.
Same here, same here. And listeners, start small, find joy in movement, and reconnect with that childlike wonder. And thank you to everyone for tuning into Mind Over Matter. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, go play. And see you next time, Nights Over Water. Thank you.